Hi, I'm Charlotte. I'm a cave monster, and I'm currently working on Lord Winklebottom Investigates, which is a 1920s point-and-click murder mystery. If you want to find out more, you can find me on Discord, Twitter, and Facebook at cavemonsters.com.
And hey everybody, yes, welcome back to another episode of the Rated R Show. It should be number 154 if I'm counting correctly. As always, my name is Christian and I am joined by my good friend Bam.
Yes, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, as you guys can clearly hear for yourselves, G can count up to 154 it seems. Boys and girls, welcome. My name is Bam Havoc. You're welcome, G. And today we're joined by Charlotte. Charlotte, say hello.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Oh, nice to meet you. And I guess you're one of the cave monsters then.
Yes, pretty much the only cave monster at the moment.
We should probably clarify. Charlotte is here from Kickstarter, I guess. A little game called Lord Winklebottom Investigates. And I guess, Charlotte, tell us what that is. I mean, not Kickstarter, we know that, but Lord Winklebottom Investigates sounds very highbrow.
Well, the name just sort of came to me after doing an initial drawing. But yeah, Lord Winklebottom Investigates. It's a 1920s murder mystery point-and-click adventure set in, well, like I said, 1920s, but it is a world populated by animals and there's no humans there. So it centres around a gentleman giraffe detective called Lord Winklebottom, and he's going to investigate the murder of his school friend, the Admiral, who's on this island. And just a little murder mystery set in the 1920s, but a bit different.
A little bit of a whodunnit point and click.
Yes, yeah.
And I must say, the top hat, the pipe, everything, yeah, very, dare I say, British.
Yeah, well, it's kind of a bit of an odd choice, I know, but I've always kind of liked animals and visiting the zoo and stuff, and I just decided one day to sort of start drawing a giraffe wearing a top hat for some reason, and it just kind of escalated from there, but I just tried to get a bit of a British sort of twist to it.
So Sherlock Holmes, Agatha Christie meets the Animal Farm.
Yes, it is, and also I suppose a bit of Wind in the Willows as well kind of thrown in.
I do have a question. When it comes to name choices, I must say I was blown away by the name choice Winklebottom, and I was thinking, names like good old sort of odd English names like Piddington, Pucklechurch, Barton, Droop. Did you search, or did you just sod it, give it a proper 20s name, out the blue, old school, old timey? What was the thinking behind that? Honestly, it couldn't have just been I just came up with it. It had to have come from somewhere, and on a giraffe, no less.
Well, the Winklebottom thing, it did just kind of come out of nowhere, though, to be honest. I mean, I've seen since, people mentioning about Winklebottom the gnome from King of the Hill, and I have watched King of the Hill before, so unless it's kind of like a thing that just got stuck in my memory from that, and then it's, just reappeared, but I just thought it was an amusing sounding name.
Well, there is a Winklebottom in the UK, so, maybe you got it from there?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a common name, though. I've not actually met anyone or heard of anyone really called Winklebottom, but it's just a sort of slightly more, I suppose it's just a posh sounding, but sort of more comical English name, I suppose.
Oh, don't get me wrong, I'm not hammering this at all. I think it's quite cute. I quite like it. And to have a typical British name on an African sort of animal, particularly a giraffe, I think it just adds to the humour of it. I mean, good lord, Winklebottom, I'm a giraffe. Good day to you, sir.
Yeah, I know it's a bit different, and I know some people have thought it's a little bit odd, especially when I first showed it, sort of, because I was showing it at Insomnia in Birmingham last August, and some people just what were you on?
As the one who's not in the UK at the moment and, representing the rest of the world, sorry, I'd say it sounds extremely English or extremely British. It works. I'm guessing the Watson to the giraffe is the hippopotamus named Frumple.
Yes, yeah. I know that's another weird name.
It's literally the most dangerous animal in Africa, named Frumple.
I did think I don't know, I've kind of tried to make him kind of a slightly cuter but more miserable, I suppose slightly grumpier character, but, still fairly cute rather than a potentially sort of most dangerous animal ever.
I like it. It's fun. It's it's not what you would expect.
No. Yeah, it's kind of weird actually, because when I went to the zoo a little while ago, I saw 2 hippos fighting and they did look pretty scary, and there was a small child that was just like terrified and crying his eyes out, which I found kind of funny in a way, but it's interesting to see that side of them alongside the usual just kind of trotting around sort of,
Bam, any good anecdotes?
I do, but let's play. It's not child friendly, so let's not go there. Right there, Charlotte. So please, we've talked about the cutesiness of the names, and particularly the twist on them being African versus old-timey British sort of names. The development team, whereabouts in the world are you guys?
Oh, I'm based in the UK. I'm in Sheffield at the moment, but I'm not from here originally. I'm from Kent, so I've moved up to Sheffield.
Now, is there a good sort of development scene within Sheffield?
Yes. I mean, I moved up here sort of originally for a job at Zumo Digital a few years ago. And yeah, there's a lot of indie development companies. It's just the big sort of development scene here.
And how many are you within that team of developers?
It's just me at the moment.
Single developer making a single game. That has got to be the dream.
Yeah, it's just kind of the money, really. You'd like some extra funding, but it's me just kind of working from like a home office at the moment.
And that's where Kickstarter comes into play. Now, we all know about the Kickstarters, but we'll get to that sort of line of questioning soon enough. What got you into making games, and particularly this game?
Well, if I was to go back years, then I was doing like an animation degree originally. So I was kind of always interested in like the storytelling aspect, and then cutscene sort of animation stuff stood out to me mainly, sort of because obviously you can work around the story and try and implement a bit more narrative in there. And then I managed to get my first job at TT Games. So being there, that kind of helped to sort of just hone sort of my storytelling skills really, sort of through animation. Because I was working as a cutscene animator on like Lego Star Wars and Batman and Indiana Jones. So there was a few there that I worked on. But I just needed to sort of try and get out of the Lego scene really. So after that I kind of went around a few different companies, sort of contracting so I could get a bit more sort of varied stuff from a showreel. And coming to sort of now with this kind of my own game, I just always wanted to really sort of make my own game, but just financially I wasn't really in the position to kind of quit a job and start doing my own stuff. So it's worked out a lot better for me now because I'm working as a part-time lecturer at the local university. So that gives me sort of a little bit of money coming in, and then I can also do this sort of in my own time. So it's given me a bit more creative freedom.
Well, again, like I said, it's living the dream. Often the dream starts small, but it blossoms into something much bigger and better. And from the 10 minutes demo that I've actually played, and I won't lie here, I did not fare very well, and I still haven't. The puzzles are crushingly, for me, I'm not a bright person, but for me they're quite tricksy. For G, that's why I'm quite pleased he's struggling with this one. But I did have fun playing the game, and I can see there's a lot of potential in this sort of creative style, and I didn't expect this to come from an animator, particularly a cutscene animator. So you must have obviously had to learn a lot of things to actually get to where you are, yeah?
Well, a lot of it I've kind of just learned over the years, actually, sort of working in the industry, because, just like by being a cutscene animator and stuff, I did go into doing like in-game animations, and then a lot of it is implementing them in-game. So using a lot of different engines. You've got to get the technical sort of aspects right and get everything working okay. So there's a lot of bug fixing, sort of the boring elements like that. So yeah, you're kind of learning the packages sort of as you're going along, really, from that point of view. So that's given me a bit of a head start, really, for sort of making my own stuff.
Well, if I may, picking up that kind of skill from TT Games, and frankly, I love those Lego games, played way too much of them. That seemed like a good place to pick that up.
Yeah, well, it sort of helped kind of move around a few different companies as well, really, because I worked at Rare and EA Brightlight when that existed, and Zumo Digital. Zumo I was at for like 2.5 years, and I worked on a few different projects there. So I was on Little Big Planet 3, Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, and a Doctor Who adventure game. So that was sort of my first adventure game sort of taste.
Yeah, I'm sorry to say, as somebody who loves Doctor Who, I have avoided all the games. I just, they're probably good. I just,
Well, they were free ones through the BBC, so I don't know if you can still get hold of them anywhere or not at the moment.
Well, I know there was at least one for the PlayStation 3.
These were just PC-based ones. It was Doctor Who and the Gunpowder Plot was the one that I worked on.
Go on, G. Find him, play him.
I might have to eventually. It's just, sometimes when these accompany games, games that come with movies, with TV show tend to be less than good. Again, TT is a little bit the exception, I'd argue, but I must say, Charlotte, your resume sounds impressive.
Thanks very much.
Somebody who's going into Kickstarter, I would say you have the background to pull this off.
Hopefully. It's just the case of kind of trying to get a bit of more of a fan base, I suppose, really, for what I'm currently doing. Because I know some people are kind of, famous sort of designers and stuff that work for different companies, but I've never really sort of, put myself out there on social media and stuff until, when just creating this project. So, I'm still pretty new, to be honest, with Twitter and Facebook and that kind of thing. So it's just a case of trying to grow sort of my audience alongside it rather than having a pre-existing sort of fan base there.
Yeah, that does help. We've seen some that have spent 2 years just building up that, as I said, they would build up 5,000 followers on various medias. And then when they go to Kickstarter, it's sort of an instant success. But I can appreciate staying away from Twitter and Facebook. Yeah,
it's very hard to sort of try and work on your own games as well, sort of when you're in an existing sort of company, because a lot of the time you're not really allowed. So, I only really had the freedom to sort of do that and start kind of trying to promote myself a bit more once I actually sort of left Zumo Digital. So, and sort of start working at the uni as like a part-time lecturer. So I'm on the games design course there. So I'm sort of keeping up to date with the stuff for work sort of purposes outside of the game stuff as well.
But also you went into a genre that's perhaps not the most popular at the moment, but at the same time one who's a little bit underserved. I'd argue there should be a lot of people wanting both a good whodunit and a point-and-click adventure.
Well, I have found it a sort of very welcoming community, really, because I've always loved point-and-click adventures, and it's just something I've never really had a proper chance to work on, because I obviously worked on like the adventure game sort of Doctor Who stuff, but it's still not quite sort of LucasArts style as you'd like, and that's kind of the main sort of influences for me with like the classic LucasArts games like Grim Fandango.
When you say LucasArts games, are you talking about Skull Island and the quest? What was it called again?
Curse of Monkey Island.
That's it. Yes, there we go. Yes.
Yeah, so it's like Curse of Monkey Island was like one of the first games that I played on PC, and then Grim Fandango and stuff like that. So I've kind of I've got a massive love for those sort of games, and that's kind of what I'm trying to hopefully not emulate, but just trying to sort of incorporate some of that love into my game, hopefully.
Well, with the resume of working for Rareware and Sumo Digital, I'm pretty sure you can pull it off, and from what I've seen in the demo and played, you are doing just that, so I can't fault you at all.
Thanks very much. I've had quite a lot of good feedback on it so far, because I was selected for Adventure X in London at the end of beginning of November last year, and I was really happy to be part of the selection there, because there was about 21 games, I think, and just made quite a few sort of new friends, and met a few other developers of like narrative adventure games, and so I've been chatting to them on Twitter, and it's just really, really friendly sort of community.
Now, there is something I was actually going to touch on with regards to Kickstarter, because we're moving now quite nicely into the Kickstarter sort of questions, and I think I'll just jump in with my both feet attached to my boots. Kickstarter, how have you found your Kickstarter with regards to funding and support?
Well, I've noticed that kind of up and then a dip that happens, and I've heard from a few people with feedback that happens. You have a bit of a sort of an increase to begin with, and then it slows down a bit in the middle, and then sort of picks up again towards the end. So I think I'm in that sort of dip area at the moment at the time of recording. But I've found it sort of really good actually so far. Just getting sort of more people actually looking at it and having a go at the demos seems to have helped, and I've built up a bit more of a community. So I'm sort of really enjoying it, as well as being a bit stressed, to be honest, at the moment.
Well, if you're soloing this as well, then yeah, Kickstarter can be quite stressful.
Yeah, just trying to sort of keep your eyes on everything at the same time, as well as sort of Discord server and making sure everything's okay with the demo and trying to do updates. And yeah, so it is a bit kind of overwhelming, I suppose, because I'm mainly just used to being a game developer. So the actual social sort of aspect of it and trying to do the marketing sort of PR side of everything, it's kind of a bit a bit much.
But yeah, for good measure, this recording is going on a little bit before the episode's going out, but by the time you're hearing this, there's about a week left on the Kickstarter. This is going out on the 20th, and the Kickstarter runs until March 27th. So if you're on the fence, there's a week left. Jump off that fence. Go and support the Kickstarter.
Yes, back it.
So now that we've figured that out with regard to Kickstarter, are you going to be attending any shows this year, i.e. EGX, Gamescom, so on and so forth?
I've been trying to sort out finances, and to be honest, at the moment, I haven't really got the funds to sort of pay to go to too many shows. So I've got a place at Insomnia again. That's in April this year. So because they're very, very good with accommodating sort of indies. So I've got a place there. I am sort of looking into the Gamescom costing. But yeah, I'm not too sure. It really does depend on sort of some of the funding and stuff that comes through at the moment.
Yes, as we've spoken to quite a few developers, particularly the indie guys, it can make or break the financial side of anything you're trying to do with the game. So rather abstain from a course or whatever have you, and develop the game, complete the game, and then go after the game, do your rounds, sort of thing. Myself and G are attending EGX Rest. Probably going to attend the other one just south of Birmingham. Good lord, I can't think of it now. Insomnia, we have on our radar, but unfortunately, work does get in the way.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem with it, is just fitting everything in, really, because I know some people manage to actually go to every single one, but I mean, the ones that I've been to, it's been exhausting so far anyway.
They are exhausting, really, they are. You've got to traipse around the entire hall, speaking to everyone, particularly with yourself. You've got to have a little bit of a booth, talk to everyone, be on your bestest behaviour when all you really want to do is just chill out and have a beer and maybe eat the bacon sandwich, relax. But oh, good lord, they are, honestly, they're exhausting.
Yeah, I mean, when I went to Insomnia, because that was 4 days, and that was the first show I'd ever been to where I'd exhibited, and I was just completely sort of knackered, really, at the end. And my throat was just really sort of raw from talking to everybody so much.
I actually make an effort every time we had one of these shows, go around just meeting everybody that we had on the show, and that you can just see they light up and go, oh, there's a face there I recognize. There's somebody we've talked to. It isn't just a stranger asking about, the same 10 questions, and here's a demo, and, it gets repetitive. So they seem to enjoy when people show up. But if you're thinking Gamescom, Indie Arena, they tend to have a mega booth, and they tend to be quite welcoming also to really small indies. Get with them.
Yeah, I was looking into that sort of just yesterday, actually. So yeah, that's something I'm kind of looking into for August.
Definitely. They are, it's an interesting place. There's 100 and something thousand per day visiting. It's cramped, it's uncomfortable, it's annoying. The indie area less so, but wow, that place is interesting. It's different from all the other events.
Yeah, I would like to go to some of the bigger ones. I'd love to go to GDC at some point, but that's just another case of, not being able to afford it at the moment.
Well, you can't, because you'd have to fly out now.
Yeah. I'm sort of hoping maybe next year, maybe.
Definitely would love to go to GDC, but wrong country, wrong continent.
Yeah, it's so much easier if you're sort of based in the US already, but I'm hoping maybe try to get to a lot more shows next year, so that once I've got sort of the main bulk of the game sort of actually playable, just before it's actually released, try and promote it a bit more that way.
Oh, makes sense.
Yeah, just saving my money for the time being.
Do that.
That is a good idea, definitely. I'm gonna be cruel and go back to the game, because just a few questions about the setting. So, as you actually already mentioned, we're on an island, Barguest Island. Now, to non-UKians, Barguest is just another word, but as far as I'm aware, it means a little bit different things in the UK, so in England.
Yeah, it's actually like a mythical sort of dog creature. So I chose that name because I thought it might be a bit more kind of interesting and like also kind of harking back to the Hound of the Baskervilles kind of thing. So I'm trying to get that.
Yeah, I was getting at
slightly weird mythical vibe to it.
Because that seems to be another tie back to, Sherlock Holmes, Hound of Baskerville, that mystical hound.
Yeah, just trying to get sort of a bit of a creepy vibe to it, really, because the island is going to be sort of harbouring a few different secrets that you won't necessarily find out about until you actually play it. So it's not just a little boring island to explore. There's definitely some creepy stuff going on there.
So we get to explore the island and get to see what's there.
Yeah, it's just going to be sort of a small island where only like a handful of people live on there. So I don't know, kind of, I'm guessing sort of like to some other countries and stuff that won't be that apparent, but in England you do get a few little islands like that where people would live. So, and it just seems kind of like a very sort of English kind of quaint sort of little idea I thought to add in. Makes it a little bit creepier and sinister as well.
Well, I'd also say you have an Axolotl'd in there as the victim, as the admiral. That's a bit of a jump. It's not exactly something a lot of people see.
No, I do love axolotls. So
they're cute.
Yeah. I don't know, because that's another thing. Like, it just started off as another painting where I did like a weird little axolotl wearing a smoking jacket with the bubble pipe, and then just just sort of Admiral Gilfrey just kind of popped up, and I thought, he'd work quite well as a victim. So yeah, they both started off actually Winklebottom and the Axolotl and Frumple started off as just like portraits that I drew initially, and then I've kind of built the story idea around them.
Okay, no, it's just I love them too. I don't know what it is with them, but they always seem so happy. There's something about their face; they just look like they have a giant smile on their face. Yeah,
they there's a lot of gifs and stuff with them just kind of smiling constantly even when they're sort of trying to eat stuff. I've seen a few in pet shops actually, sort of around here, and they do look really cute. I'd like to sort of potentially get some at some point. But
aren't they endangered?
I think they are in the wild, but not sort of as pets, not being bred like that.
Okay, yeah, but I guess out of Mexico and Central America.
Yeah, because I listened to some stuff before, like documentaries about them being sort of endangered in certain areas in Mexico. But yeah, I think they're just still captively bred.
Well, believe it or not, I'm getting a bit of a vibe here. Why do I have the overwhelming sense that you, Charlotte, have the Sherlock Holmes hat, the monocle from Dr. Watson, the moustache, the top hat, the magnifying glass, the pipe? Why do I have that sort of vibe from you? Do you have these items in your house?
No, I don't.
Lies!
I don't have any of them, no.
Honestly, it just gives... but you know so much about, this, hang on, this, and no, you must have these items in your house, or at least you go around the car boot sales looking for these items, and then, that's all I have in my head. You're like a bit of a bargain hunt sort of person that goes and looks for these old-timey investigative sort of bits and pieces.
No, I would quite like a deerstalker hat, but I don't know if it would suit me, though. Yeah, I mean, I do have the box set of the old films, but that's kind of about it, really. Is I've got a lot of the DVDs and yeah.
That's far enough, I think. Gee, this is where you pop in and say, do you drink gin or whiskey?
Sorry, me. Because if you do want to know, I drink whiskey.
Wow. So we are one step closer.
Yeah, I do like my whiskey.
For some reason, I'm following a fair few English developers and some Irish and Scottish and what have you. Basically, people from various parts of those isles. All of them seem to have a thing with drinking whiskey.
I mean, I'd have thought the women that I've spoken to more, like, I know it's a bit kind of stereotypical, but they seem to drink more gin, but I've just never liked gin. I always just prefer whiskey.
Oh, gin is so good.
There's a monthly get-together, apparently, of female game developers in London. I think it's in London they do it. And every time it gets mentioned in my Twitter feed, people talk about whiskey.
I didn't know. I've not heard of that one, actually, but I don't get down to London that much, so something I'll have to check out.
Well, being in Sheffield, I'm pretty sure you don't get down to London. Sheffield's at the other end of the bloody country.
Yeah, I'm about maybe about 2.5 hours on the train, or just over 2 hours. Depends on if you get a fast train.
Yeah, good luck. If you're lucky, it's 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not get into UK trains. They're weird.
Yeah, you can't ever rely on them.
I'm thinking, actually, we've had quite a few guests on who are game developers and drink whiskey. There seems to be a wider theme.
I've been drinking sort of more of the Jack Daniel's honey liqueur recently. Especially helps with bad throats.
Honey liqueur.
Yeah, it's
Not
quite
had
nice
that.
actually. It's just a little bit sweeter.
Man, that might be up your alley instead.
This game, really, honestly, it's cute and it makes me smile because the names and the subtle twists and the puzzles. I won't lie, I'm just a fairly basic human being. I just suffer badly.
I can always help you out with those.
No, thank you. Let me suffer in silence. Thank you very much. It's only a demo and I suck at it already. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can. I can always ask. You can always ask me on Discord or something if you do need any hints. So.
Thank you, Charlotte. I might do that. Yes.
We saw that with one of our recent-ish guests from December TikTok. They actually ended up putting up like a spoiler-safe room where people could ask questions because it turned out to be a big thing.
Yeah, I haven't actually played that yet, but I do want to sort of have a go at that.
Play it.
Yeah.
That one is good. We're doing the 3rd chapter on Sunday. It's really good.
Yeah, I definitely will.
And I'm biased because it has a lot of old Danish things, and I'm from Denmark, so yeah, I'm biased.
Only good thing to come out of Denmark, G, is the bacon and the gammon steaks, which you don't get.
And Lego and Mask and so many other things.
Do you not get gammon steaks over there?
Nope. Denmarkian gammon steaks only come to England and Germany and everywhere else apart from Denmark.
That's weird.
I know, very strange.
Here's a weird one. I had to look up something because of Brexit on how much bacon UK imports. And I just literally typed in how much bacon does UK import into Google. And the first thing that comes up is Danish bacon. Like, here, you need to know about Danish bacon. So you must import other things.
Nope, that's all we need to survive, bruh. That bacon deliciousness.
Should we try to get back to the Kickstarter and the game?
Yeah, come on, we're getting sidetracked because it's a very interesting topic and it's quite nice.
What, bacon?
Well, no, I was talking about a game, but you're not wrong. Bacon's just as good.
5 more minutes, we'll get to bacon.
Yes.
Okay, Charlotte, for those people on the YouTubes, they're watching the demo playing out repeatedly in the background because it's a short demo. But it's also not too much of a spoiler, I guess, because as it says in the demo, the actual game will be different. Will have a different setting.
Well, the rooms will be in it. It's just the puzzles will be different as well. So it's not like an actual slice of the game. So you're not going to have to like repeat that section somewhere in the game. It's just to give you sort of a bit of the flavour of it, really. So I didn't want to do a demo where it's just like the beginning sort of, 15 minutes of the game itself. Because obviously then it might be a bit boring when people actually come to play the game because they're just going to be repeating the same process again. So I just wanted to get that theming sort of across, but with some different puzzles. So there's no spoilers.
So anybody thinking about trying it, particularly those that aren't watching it on repeat on YouTube, run over to itch.io. That's where the demo is, I could see.
Yeah, the demo's on there. I was planning on doing a couple of updates actually with a few other languages that I'm sort of been working on recently. So it'll be updated like in the next week or so. So I know it's kind of coming along sort of towards the end of the Kickstarter, but I'm planning on getting a few extra languages in just to reach a bit more of a wider audience with it.
Oh, what language are you considering?
Well, at the moment, it's kind of some people helping me out, really. There's not a massive selection, but there will be, there should be German, Italian, Russian, and Japanese.
So no French, no Hercule Poirot?
Not at the moment. That's purely just because I can't get sort of that help in the time frame at the moment.
I'd offer, but my French is terrible.
It's okay. It's just people kind of like helping out, sort of, sort of just to be nice, really, at the moment. So yeah, it's kind of just kind of getting some help from like a team. It's like Mind Travel Games, so they're just helping me out really with the demo localization.
And will that be fully voiced?
No, that will just be the actual text localization. So I can't really get any sort of voice actors, sort of, especially on that short notice, sort of for other languages.
Fair enough. But then, content-wise, you mentioned the island. You said that we will see the drawing room and the orangery. I've never heard that word before. Again, in the final game. Sort of what other settings are we looking at? I mean, this is all the Sea Dog. I'm assuming there's some boats and some ships.
Yeah, well, you'll start off in in Winklebottom study. So it'll be kind of a bit more of a learning curve sort of initially, and then you'll be going to the island. So there will be docks and boats, ships, etc. And then there'll obviously be other places on the island to explore, as well as all extra rooms in the house. And there'll be a few sort of secret sort of locations on the island, as well as the family sort of crypt, where Ethelberta, the wife of the Admiral, sort of is laid to rest. So I'm trying to go for a slightly creepier vibe around some of the areas of the island.
Okay. Will there be like a, I'm not sure, I can't remember if this was a Sherlock Holmes one, but there was an investigation on a train, and he called everyone up into the train carriage and, said this, that, and everyone here is a suspect. Will there be a sort of instance on that on the boat as well?
Oh, are you talking about Murder on the Orient Express?
That's it!
Yeah,
Yes!
it's a Poirot.
Good Lord, you know them well. That's it, Poirot, yes, good Lord.
I mean, there will be like a drawing room style scene, at the end.
When you see these things, I used to watch these sort of investigative things. Oh God, what's the guy in the Jaguar with the old Mark II Jag?
I'm not sure what that one is.
No, it's a British investigator. He had drove an old white Mark II Jag.
Not sure.
Good God, I will have to Google it.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Have you Googled it yet?
My Googling skills are terrible.
I'm guessing you're, leaning towards adding references to all the various shows then. Is it a little bit of Hercule Poirot, a little bit of Agatha Christie, Rosemary and Thyme, perhaps?
I've never actually sort of watched those or sort of read any of those. So I'm sort of going for more that classic sort of style. So sticking more, I suppose, Agatha Christie and Sherlock Holmes style stuff. But with the horror elements, I'm sort of trying to get a bit more of that Hammer horror and Universal horror vibe into it. So there's a bit of a kind of underlying creepiness to the whole thing.
Yeah, I can see what you're going for, I think. I'm also thinking then your murder victim is an axolotl. They can regenerate. There's actually some options for proper horror.
Yeah, well, there's going to be a reason why he's not regenerated, but that would be a bit of a spoiler.
Well, I'm just looking forward to figuring out why there's a tube of water in his drawing room.
Well, he's going to be, because he's amphibian, he's got like a water system that goes around his whole house so that he can like sort of swim around the different rooms as well as sort of be outside the water. Which I know it's a bit weird, but I was kind of going slightly more for that Abe Sapien in Hellboy style thing.
Ah, yes. That's actually kind of cute how they did that. I always thought Ape must hate it because he's just that separated from everybody else.
Yeah, they do that thing with his neck, don't they? Where he's got an extra sort of water sort of breathing system thing.
Portable thing, yeah.
Yeah, I do like sort of the Hellboy stuff as well. So I'm sort of, more the Guillermo del Toro stuff really. So I'm sort of trying to get a bit of that kind of vibe into it too, I suppose, slightly.
Right, my Googling skills have brought up. I thought it was a touch of frost, but it wasn't. It was Inspector Bloody Morse.
Oh, I've not really watched many Inspector Morse.
I used to watch it when I was a kid, right, with my parents and stuff, and they were always good, and A Touch of Frost was brilliant, and, that's when you watch your Sherlock Holmes and whatever have you, and your Poirot and stuff like that. So, yeah, yes, please. More of this, please.
I just kind of quite like the sort of classical ones and the new ones that they've done around Christmas times and stuff for the sort of new Agatha Christie's that they've been doing. So there's the last one, can't remember the actor's name now. The one that was on at Christmas, what's his name? Oh, John Malkovich one.
What was it called?
I can't remember the name. Oh, was it the ABC Murders? That was it. The ABC Murders.
I was going to go for Luther, but no, that's not it at all, is it?
No, it's the ABC Murders.
Yeah.
So it was just a Poirot, but they just kind of redid it, but with John Malkovich instead.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm a little bit more to the Nordic noir ones instead, the modern ones.
Yeah, I've not watched sort of many of the newer sort of modern setting things really. Apart from like obviously Sherlock, sort of with Benedict Cumberbatch.
So you're completely missing out on knitted sweaters and Danish-Swedish jokes and humour.
What ones are those then that you've been watching?
No, don't ask, please, please don't.
I just say go watch the original version of Braun, The Bridge.
Oh, I have heard of it. Yeah, I'll put that on my list.
It's actually pretty okay, but again, for the style you're heading towards, that might be in the exact opposite direction. So
Yeah, I mean, I do like more than one style of things, though, so I'd definitely sort of watch it. Just might not sort of, incorporate it into the game, but I'd definitely be interested.
Oh, I understand.
Well, funny thing is, Charlotte, the reason why we've been asking these sort of questions is because something that did jump out to me was that the genre of type of game you're going for with regards to the whole detective sort of size, would it be in safe hands, and how would you manage this sort of point-and-click adventure? And seemingly, you actually know a lot more about about the whole sort of investigative things than I do, because I did watch a few, I wouldn't say all the Sherlock Holmes, I wouldn't say all the Poirot's, because I couldn't even name Inspector Morse. I knew he drove a Mark II Jag, I thought it was a touch of frost. But, at least the whole game is in safe hands, and you know what you're doing with it, which is good. The one question I have for you is platforms. This seems a very console orientated sort of game, because it's very simple, it's very basic, and it will be very easy to port it across. Are you looking into consoles?
Yeah, I am at the moment. I mean, it definitely will be on PC, Linux, Mac, and Switch, because I've been registered as a Switch developer. So there's no question about it actually getting onto Nintendo Switch. And I'll be doing like touch controls sort of for that as well. I would like to get it on other platforms too, but that's just the case of going through the processes, which I'm sort of still in the process of doing at the moment. So just kind of waiting, really, sort of. But I'd like to get it on sort of as many as possible, and then potentially later on looking into sort of porting it to mobiles, but I just don't know if it'll work sort of with the tiny screen, to be honest, on phones.
Well, you are based on Unity as far as I can tell, so that should make things a little bit easier.
Yeah, it'll help a lot actually, just with porting. It's so much easier sort of to get the Linux versions and stuff sorted, and the Mac versions. It's just a case of testing everything really sort of afterwards. That's sort of the longest bit of it.
See, I like the idea of it being on a touchpad and touch control, which is why I thought your link to Switch was a brilliant idea. For consoles like Xbox, which would be a lot easier than PS4. I'll tell you that right now. PlayStation have got a weird thing with indie developers. I don't understand why, but it'll be a lot easier on the consoles as well. When it comes to tablets, yes. Phones, maybe not. Screen scaling and all that jazz. But yeah, definitely go with the touchpad controls for the Switch. Definitely, yes.
Yeah, I'm sort of looking forward to kind of getting on the Switch really now. I was quite excited sort of when I heard back about that.
It's a great game for the system. It uses all their sort of utilities and it offers a lot to the console. So I think they'll be begging you to put your game on their system.
Well, it's already been approved, so, it's just a case of when it's ready.
Happy days.
Bam, did you just refer to the Switch as a console?
No, look, listen, right, shush, just shush. It's a great idea for tablets, and Nintendo Switch are adamant about calling their tablets a console. Fine, let them call it whatever they want. It's still a tablet, and this game would be perfect on tablets. Perfect.
I don't know if I'd call it a tablet, though. I still think of it as a console.
You're hurting poor Bam there.
It's a tablet, not a console, but it's in the console sphere because it's Nintendo. It's debatable.
You can play it on the TV, though.
Yeah, you could, yes.
I'm guessing you're not much of a Switch fan.
No, look, I'm a great fan of Nintendo. Hell, I started my gaming life on Nintendo, a NES. Moved to a SNES, Sega, PS1, 2, 3, 4, all that jazz, right? But Nintendo only sell nostalgia, and that, I think, they bank on all the time. This is why I'm quite keen to see, you succeed with this, because it's a new game that uses all their facilities and utilities on that particular system. And I'm dodging the word console because I still don't think it's a console, but it's a unique idea on the console genre. I'll give them that. And I think your games will be perfect on there. Perfect.
Thanks. Thanks very much. I am aiming to try and get it on sort of Xbox and PS4, but yeah, it's just a case of sort of going through the processes really for that. So yeah, it's definitely something I'd like to do.
Well, when it comes to PlayStation 4, I'll be first in line right there to buy it.
I only got the PlayStation 4 recently. I just bought it for my husband for Christmas. So.
Now, this is the test of love. Did you get him the bog standard basic 500, or did you go for the PS Pro with the 1 terabyte?
It's not the Pro, but it is it's the Spider-Man edition though.
Oh wow, there's a compromise. He's got the Spider-Man web flinger. console.
Yeah, it does look really nice.
Well, there's a compromise, I think. There's a compromise. I think it's firmly intact there.
I'm just loving how you said that you've got the PS4 because you gave it to him. Like, was it a present for yourself?
Well, it's well, it's a present for him mainly, but something that I can benefit from as well. So.
Snaky.
I'm loving the way this is going already.
It is his present though. It's his PS4.
Okay, Bam, should we, we're past the 1 hour mark. Should we wrap this up with the question?
We are. Yes, let's do it. Right, Charlotte, at the end of every single episode, we ask a question to all our friends that come along to chat with us. And it revolves around beer and bacon. And we have had so many different types of answers, but knowing you're from Kent, and I know the bacon in Kent is particularly luscious, and the beer and cider is particularly agreeable, I'll let G ask the question, because it's in his contract. Subsection B, Article 3, Annex 4.
She kind of already halfway got to that question, didn't she?
What, earlier with the bacon?
But yeah, Charlotte, the question, one Bam likes to refer to as the penultimate question, despite we don't have any of them afterwards. Goes very simple. What kind of bacon do you want? How do you like that bacon? How do you want it served and prepared? And of course, what kind of beverage do you want with your bacon? Be it beer, cider, whiskey, coffee, something non-alcoholic. Yeah, bacon and drink.
Well, I do like crispy bacon. So I've never liked that horrible sort of white gunky stuff that you get on it in some sort of cafes and things. So I like crisp bacon. I'd say in a sort of baguette, maybe, like a warm baguette with cider.
That sounds nice. Proper French baguette, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I can't stand that sort where it's just all white sort of horrible stuff on top of it, where it's all slimy. But yeah,
I'm guessing that's just grease upon grease.
That white stuff is actually no. She's talking about that white stuff that sometimes oozes out of the actual bacon meat. What that is actually filler and some salt as well. So that's what that is. So you're right not to like it, but it's harmless. So
yeah, no, it's just that kind of thing that puts you off a bit. So crisp bacon it is for me. Yeah,
a little bit, but crispy bacon's delicious, and in a baguette, nicely buttered with a cold glass of cider. Yeah, perfect. I'm gonna have that for lunch tomorrow, I think.
Well, that kind of does it, because we can wrap up. Charlotte, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on, talking about this game, the Kickstarter. Reminder to everybody, go check out the Kickstarter, support it if you haven't. If you have support it some more. I love the style, the giraffe and everything. It's cute. I think that's the word that I really want to attach to it, which shouldn't be, on a murder mystery, but it seems to work. And I'm just looking forward to playing it some more, at least getting into the real game. Now I've solved the puzzles, even if I brute forced one of them. Just want more of the game. There's nothing really else to say.
Thanks very much for having me.
First in the queue here, yes, I totally agree with you, G. The game is very cute. It's a very unique twist on Monkey... Oh, God, what's it called again? Monkey Island, Charlotte? What's it called again?
Yeah, Monkey Island.
There we go.
The Curse of Monkey Island was actually the first one that I played, which I know isn't obviously the first one, but that's just the first game that I played, yeah.
Thank you very much for clarifying that. I've got a memory like a sieve, honestly I do. But it's a unique take on that sort of style and genre, and I love the names. The names are just perfect, and it sums up the sort of quirkiness of 1920s Britain, which I think, we could do with some more nowadays. Charlotte, thank you very much for joining us. Guys, if you're listening to this, please go and support Charlotte on a Kickstarter. You've got a week left. It's a game worth supporting. You can see there's a demo. There is love, there is care, and there's attention to it, and there's also Easter eggs. So, yay! Thank you, Charlotte. You've been a pleasure to talk to. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.